The Goon Squad Podcast.
Hey, what's up? This is Classified Country Boy.
This is Disco Boogie.
This is Koa.
This is Echo.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Goon Squad Podcast. On today's episode, we are going to be talking about voter suppression and going to talk about what we foresee coming up in the election. Also, a side note, this is also an old recording, so everything that will be coming up is old. So bear with us, and hope you enjoy our old predictions, and hope you enjoy.
Responded to a post and where they were talking about they were voting for Biden because they love their freedoms.
Oh no.
After that kind of facepalm moment, it's like this person's, this is the first election they'll be voting in, and it's...
I remember my first time.
Thing was that, I'm obviously sporting Joe Jorgensen. I could not bring myself to support either of the main party candidates. And that was the response I got. Oh, well, if you vote for Joe, you're a vote for Trump. And it's like, that's funny because the Trump supporters told me literally the exact opposite. Am I voting 3 times? But
I mean, how can somebody be upset, though? Like, not keeping in mind, like, I'm upset that you aren't voting for my candidate, so I'm going to tell you you're throwing your vote away because I don't respect your opinion. It's like, I'm not voting for fucking Trump, so you can calm the fuck down on that. And I'm not voting for somebody who's going to, like, snort your fucking kids, so you can fuck off. I think in reality, what it's coming down to is I don't even think the Democrats are, like, pro-Biden at all. I kind of think if you're voting for Biden, I kind of think it's kind of a nudge and a wink to the side of the head and saying, we're voting for Kamala. And that's what I think.
She's the most progressive. She's the most progressive candidate ever. You know that, right?
Excuse me. I'm speaking.
I'm speaking. I am the most progressive.
Let's not forget the ones that are only voting for Biden just for the sole fact that it'll be a vote against Trump.
It's not Trump. It makes no sense to me.
But the part that got me was I care about my freedoms, so I'm voting for the guy who wants to disarm us.
More government! The way you can be more free is more government!
You guys are just getting out of school. I mean, are people not paying attention in history?
That's the problem. No. It's the public school system. Like, okay, I shouldn't say public school, but like I can speak from public school experience. You run through that, and like especially the older kids. Like when I was in government class, my senior year in high school, my government teacher was pushing and pushing and pushing for everybody to vote for Obama, and I did. I was pretty much fucking brainwashed into it. Like, as a profession, why are you doing that to kids? It should honestly be an unbiased point of view if you're teaching government to these kids. And so that was like my first understanding of like who Ruth Bader Ginsburg was. And I had learned just everything about my government teacher because she practically worshipped Ruth Bader Ginsburg. I'm trying to think who the other one was at the time, but there was another Supreme Court justice that she like worshipped. But I don't know. I'm not sure who it was, but how can, when you're leaving high school and your teachers are, teaching these kids these certain things, why is it okay that, they're pushing these kids out into the world with such a democratic mindset? Why can't they teach these kids to have more of a down the middle, like a liberty mindset or constitutional mindset? Like, and it's not even about curriculum. It's about teaching these kids to vote for personal interest of the teacher. Fuck. If you can persuade a classroom of, let's say, 15, 20 kids at a time, probably 8 times a day. I mean, think about it. You've got that many kids now running around your school, from your school district that you just persuaded to go vote for Trump or Biden. Let a motherfucker teach them to vote for Joe Jorgensen or something. Fuck.
There's some teachers out there that are doing that. I've seen a couple pictures of some like middle school elections, government class having all. Well, now they put the Green Party up there on the board of people you could vote for. So there's some teachers that are teaching that. But obviously, it's, it comes down to like those teachers unions and police unions, labor unions, all the stuff. They all have an agenda. Almost all of them always want to vote for Biden unanimously, no matter what, because that's part of their agenda. They get more pay, they get more kicks, and all that shit.
You're just raising a bunch of kids already, preset in how they're going to deal with things. And that's so wrong to me. I grew up in a pretty conservative area, except for the fact of I went to a separate school. It was a vocational school, so it was outside of my school district. And I ended up voting for Obama back in 2012 because of that teacher. Or was it 2012? Hold on, I got to think back for a second. Yeah, I think it was 2012.
Yeah, that was the second re-election.
Yeah, because I think you're younger than I am. So, yeah.
I voted for him twice, so I'm old.
I think I missed it because I graduated in 2009. So my government class was in 2008, 2009, 17, can't vote. But then you throw in how the government class is in my school area. So we all know how Alabama is for football.
Oh,
right?
That was totally not where I was thinking of when you said we all know how Alabama is.
Oh.
Fair. But
I'm fucked up. I'm sorry.
Most of our history teachers are also football coaches.
Oh, same.
Yeah, I imagine we're not the only place like that, but we are a lot more hardcore on football than a lot of places are. But that's literally all my history teacher cared about. His teaching in class was, okay, read this chapter, we're having a test on it Friday. Answer them and bring them back tomorrow. And there was a day I didn't do my homework. I literally started it as he was collecting papers and wrote, this is the answer to number whatever it was on one of the papers that I got 100% on that I completed while he was taking up paper.
Wait, there's another way to do homework?
That's how my government class went here.
The only options were to do your homework on the bus or when you're passing them in. As your neighbor, as the person behind you hands you their homework to pass to the front, you just set their shit down and write your answers real quick off of theirs.
Yeah.
Nicer than I am. Hope they use pencil
Or
erase
you
their
could
name
just
and put
change
yours.
the name. Yeah, my man.
Or write your name next to it. This was a teamwork effort.
Our homework, comrade.
That is how communism works.
Speaking of communism, actually, one of my government teachers, I was actually very not biased, but he would, I guess, based. He would always give the side of everybody and say why they're both wrong and why to everybody. So, like, I give credit to one of my history teachers for actually like showing us. Like, he would always like go off of whatever the textbook was not saying and start rambling off about stuff he learned in college. Like, no, this is another theory about why this might have happened. Now, what do you guys think about it? And he would just have a discussion. Like, the homework and everything was ridiculously easy, and it's an easy job for him. He's teaching basic history, but he's like making people think. And, we need more teachers like that to make people like think, not like fall in line.
Yeah, that's how you learn.
Yeah.
You learn by thinking, not by absorbing and regurgitating information.
Fill out this paper. The answer's always C.
I learned a lot more outside of school than for history than I actually did in school. Fortunately, my dad was a huge history buff, and I've brought books home and he's read them because, being a huge history buff, he's curious as to what they're teaching in schools. Gotten a long talks about, well, this is missing all these details and this is why this happened. And it's good to hear history that's not, just what's in a textbook written by the winner.
Growing up, I loved history class. I mean, I really, really did. I was always curious about, learning about history on the local level. I was always curious about learning on the state level and then the national level. Once I started to get to world history, it started to not feel as interesting to me. But I've actually kind of reached a point where I think world history is really, really interesting. But where it really starts to get funny to me is I've actually gotten more involved in more of a history buff, especially joining and being a part of this movement, because I realized each story has like two sides to it. There's no longer just that textbook winner's circle version. So I've like dug into it, and that's even what even kind of like tripped me on the path of joining the movement to begin with, was because I happened to pick up the right set of history books, and that was kind of it. It was just kind of like, oh hey, so guess what? Yeah, you were lied to. That's not the real history of what happened. This is actually what happened. And there was enough like cited sources and stuff in there that it was just kind of like more convincing. So it was just like, I definitely think it's a good idea that if we're really going to be looking at anything at all, like especially through history or anything like that, we should definitely look at both sides of everything. So that's why I ended up learning how to be in this movement, of just why I fucking hate the system as much as I do. And that's kind of why I'm on the edge if I'm going to even drop my vote or my ballot in the box at all or not. So
Yeah, I feel you on that. Like, one of the thoughts I've always had about it is like back, I think it was the 2010 Obama's first election when he was going up against
It'd be 2008.
Yeah. So that was the same year when Ron Paul was running, and that's when I discovered Ron Paul and the whole liberty movement, the whole libertarianism and everything. And that's when I started getting really deep into, like, I already knew about my world history, good enough world history, but then I started finding out about, like, all right, U.S. interventionism, like what have we done in other countries, Latin countries, what have we done in Africa, what have we done in the Middle East specifically too, and we start finding more and more like our involvement with all these places. It's fucking horrific because it ends up being more consequential for us in the end, because we either, us the taxpayers, have to pay for it, or like American influence, when America's intervening in like Latin America, what ends up happening? They end up putting an authoritarian government that fucks over the people out there, and they have to go leave their countries and start coming up here through the border. The United States decided to fuck around.
Oh, a good, interesting podcast to go and check out then would be the Status Quo. He's got one where he talks about the School of Americas. I mean, you want to, like, especially with that Latin history and everything else like that, where, like America put authoritarians and stuff in down there, that will fuck with a lot of people's minds to really realize that, like, even shit like as recent as Venezuela, yeah, that's been our fucking fault, bud. Like, we are fucking responsible for that. And there's a good damn reason why those people were coming to America to try and seek refuge. How about for this fact that it was our fucking fault that, their country is going to shit the way it is right now. Like, and this is going to be for any conservative that hears this shit, is like, I don't hear anybody fucking complaining now that the government put a bunch of people out of work for the coronavirus, and they want their damn stimulus check and everything else like that. Everybody, left and right side, both got their fucking hand out for Daddy Trump to write them a fucking check. But the government becomes responsible for displacing tens of thousands of people in their own fucking country because they put some shit-ass authoritarian leader in there that ruined the country, and these people are fleeing for their fucking lives, and the United States is responsible. And not a single fucking conservative is going to stand there and open the door and say, yeah, you know what? This is our fault. We should take care of that. But yet when the government fucks up and kicks people out of work here in America, they got their hand out and they're the first one in line for their fucking check. No, it's bullshit.
I feel like stuff like that is why our forefathers basically said we really don't need to get involved with other countries' problems.
Absolutely. And that's one of the things I back Joe Jorgensen on, is like being like Switzerland, armed but neutral.
Honestly, not a bad place for it. We are a world superpower. If we were to bring all of our troops home, let them do them over there, they'll fix themselves and work it out eventually, or they won't, and somebody else that's already over there because they live there will.
Well, think about this. A fear of ours for Vietnam to become communist was that they might end up with like nuclear weapons or something like that some unstable regime would use against America, or or whatever the case was, that they were so afraid of communism spreading like that was and affecting America in the war. I mean, look, Vietnam shit's not favorable there. I mean, but and they're not even a point of conversation anymore. It was just a political stunt is all that it was. And that's a lot of what you've seen like with Iraq and Afghanistan. That's why we're still fucking there. It's all political at this point. You know, nobody wants to admit like, hey, we're kind of fucking not doing shit over there right now. So, you know, maybe we should pull the troops back home. No, that's why they keep saying, that's why you'll see like, oh, Taliban bombed someplace in Kabul right now. And it's like, okay, no casualties. So why in the fuck are we there? I don't know. It's bullshit. The U.S. interventionism's got to fucking stop. America is a like Kevlar bulletproof vest basically within itself. We've got our maple syrup loving neighbors to the north, and I mean, fuck, we got Donald Trump's wall to the south to keep us protected. So, I mean,
one that fucking blew down in the high wind.
All 400 miles of it.
I fucking cried laughing when I heard that shit.
I can't believe I missed that.
I was not fucking happy about that at all.
I don't know if you guys been noticing though, like, you notice how Trump has actually been pretty silent on immigration recently?
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah.
Why? Why?
He didn't get shit done.
Yeah.
He didn't do what he was wrong. But in the last debates you saw, like, he said it right there, like, who built the cages, Joe? Who built them?
Yeah, that's why he's been quiet, is he wants to definitely use it as a platform to stand there and like shit on the Obama administration for, because he's blanket shitting on Joe too.
Yeah, I mean, Trump is all Trump has to do is be like, yo, I took whatever you guys made and I just ran with it. Like, what do you want me to do? He did what he was going to do, but he didn't build his wall, but he definitely kept deporting people. But even the whole system was like, they were trying to say like, oh, we want to deport criminals and stuff like that, but they were getting people for like victimless crimes and deported them and fucking up their family and just horrible shit. Like,
well, didn't he have somebody working at one of his golf courses that was an illegal immigrant, and then when it got exposed, that dude got deported?
Yeah. Yep.
At Mar-a-Lago, yeah.
Fuck, dude.
That's why he won't say anything about it, because he knows he's going to get fucking grilled on the family separation shit and the double standard that he has for people that he deems acceptable. And
also, he has been getting more popular with more Latino and black males recently, surprisingly.
Hey, I'm not going to publicly tell you people I'm going to deport your ass. I'm just going to get your support, and then I'll secretly do it. Fucking piece of shit.
The way he sees it is he can lie as much as he wants because he can't get reelected after this one if he gets it anyway.
Hold on. I got to see, because I'm going to have to share this on the Goon Squad Twitter account. There was a video somebody had shared, and it kind of fucked with me a little bit. This kid's sleeping in their room, and the mom comes walking in and like wakes the kid up and says, the election is over. And the kid wakes up and says, okay, who won? And the mom says, Trump did. And the little boy says, I thought you could only run for president twice. And it was like, me too, son, me too. And it was like the Abraham Lincoln Project or some shit. I was like, why does that actually fuck with me though? Like, why can I see that fucking happening?
Oh, hell no.
I was like, I don't fucking like this video. This video sucks, and whoever shared it is a fucking asshole.
The only downside to that is there'll be all kinds of people up in arms about it, and they'll do the same thing they did when Trump went against everything else they believed in.
Yeah, it's true.
Nothing. I'm not saying everybody by, no means, but there are a lot of people that would sit and accept it.
Notionally, something could happen.
Yeah, I'm going to stop on that topic
now. We all know. I do need to find that video to save it.
The one thing I did like about the pandemic, the lockdowns and shit, is that it got a lot of people to bunker down and actually start like reading up and like catching up on shit that they were missing because they're always constantly worked, their brains all fried and shit. And now they're waking up to the fact of all this bullshit that's been going on recently. Like, you already see with like a lot of Democratic voters, they're already pissed off at the DNC for fucking over Bernie twice and Tulsi Gabbard and other progressive or anybody who wasn't like a part of the whole like crony Democratic warhawk establishment.
I wonder what she did to piss them off, because I think Tulsi could have won.
They were propping up Kamala Harris to be the number one nominee, basically. Like, oh, she's going to be the best.
Right.
And Tulsi fucking DDT'd her to the fucking off the stage with the whole, like, hey, when they asked you if you smoked weed before, and you locked thousands of people for it.
So I read an interesting theory that I can't stop thinking about, and I wonder if there's like some merit behind it. There's a theory that was going around that I read online, which of course, if it's on the internet, it must be true. But I'm one of those kind of people that, you know, I do read into conspiracy theories a little bit, and
listen to me, intergalactical space demons.
Yeah, pretty much. 9/11, by the way, was a conspiracy. I will say that, but
that's a fact.
Anyway, so considering what I was reading was saying that Kamala Harris from day one, when all the debates and everything were happening, they were wanting Kamala Harris to be the presidential candidate 100%.
It was all over the place.
And so what I was reading even further, that was a lot of the reason why some of the more popular candidates who actually kind of had a reasonable sounding argument, kind of like Tulsi Gabbard. I mean, and as much as I'm not like Democrat or anything, she was one that I didn't think I could be as worried about if she won. But, you know, candidates like her, Bernie Sanders, you know, they like tried to get rid of them, and they let Joe Biden, you know, kind of out there and just do his own thing and let himself make himself, you know, an ass of himself, you know, because they didn't think that he was going to win.
He was getting bodied by his own party.
Yeah.
He
literally, I mean, they literally were comparing him and competing him up against Kamala, you know, and they thought Kamala was going to get it, and then she didn't, you know.
She said Biden, like, oh, I believe in your accusers, your sexual assault accusers.
Yeah, dude. To go even further into it, what I've been reading is that, and it's starting to make sense. Like, that's why it's gotten in there and it's noodling around. Is that a lot of this shit, like with them coming out with Hunter Biden and stuff like that, that's been leaking and everything, it's been purposely done by the Democrat Party to deplatform Joe Biden to, you know, that way if they do lose to Trump, they can say, oh, well, it was just because of, you know, Hunter Biden, you know, or if the simple fact that Joe Biden gets in, they have somebody that they wanted to be president anyway. They can find incompetence in Joe, and boom, they got their number one pick again.
Like, have you ever seen her interviews recently, which is like, well, the agreement between me and Joe, like, what?
Yeah. Well,
like,
let's not mention
enemies. Like, literally less than a year ago, like, just you saw the shit that they were throwing at each other. Well, mostly Kamala Harris, but like, and now they're the buddies, and you expect the Democrats to play along nice.
Well, let's not forget too, every time that Kamala gets on TV or anything like that about like presidency or like the commercials and stuff for her, it's almost like you're voting for her for president.
Yeah, she talked like she's the one actually running.
Yeah, dude, how does that not sit with anybody and make them realize that could possibly fucking happen?
Vote blue no matter who.
Yeah, like seriously, like.
Come on, guys, it's not Trump. Come on, let's get behind Biden. Come on.
Yeah,
I'm riding with him.
Oh my God! You almost made me choke. I was going to take a drink of water.
The guy that's going to do what every tyrant in history has done first before he started doing bad things is going to save our country.
Yeah.
Just let Biden win, hand over your guns, and stay quiet.
Fall online, guys.
But be free.
I mean, here's where I'm at too. This is where my conspiracy theory thing comes into play. Is like, you know, being a part of the Matrix, man. Like, what if everybody is being told that they're voting for a candidate, you know, and they put these two people up there, but in reality, they've already like picked who they want them to vote for, you know, who's going to win the election, and we send all this shit in. I mean, because does anybody actually physically see the shit being counted out and actually going toward a number? No. I mean, yeah. Well, and the thing is, I kind of feel like that, you know, it's one of them things they tell us like, oh yeah, your vote will count. And it's like, do they actually already just have the candidate
picked? Does it though?
So
technically we don't. Technically, we're not the ones voting for them. We're voting for our
exactly. Yes.
My argument usually against that would be like, well, you can always, skip the presidential election, go vote in your local ones, like who's running for your city council, who's running for state representative, because those would actually affect you more than what the federal would. I mean, feds affect everybody, but the state and local shit actually affect you more.
That is one thing
that's true.
It's very important to say right now too, because a lot of people give the president way too much credit.
Because I think there was only like 35% of people actually that actually will vote during like midterm elections and things like that. But I think they said it was only like 52% come out for presidential voting.
Yeah, that's so fucking dumb.
Those elections every 2 years, those are going to be the ones that get your local laws changed.
Yeah.
Those are going to be the ones who support you. And then you have people like where I live, these people have been in office longer than I've been alive. And I've always seen people complaining about, these various elected officials. See complaints all the time. It's like none of you are going out to vote them out of office.
But my road.
Oh my God, I don't even want to get started on that. Like, dude,
just remember, Dominos actually fix potholes.
So
right.
I went out to visit some people a couple weeks ago, and it's the first time I've ever been to that city in my state. Prior to this, didn't even know the city existed. And had I not driven the car that I drove, if either of my project cars were on the road right now, I would have ruined the bottom of either one of them.
Oh, hell no.
Because, like, somewhere, somebody along the state messed up, and they got a little bit of road in the pothole, and that was a fun little jump.
Let's see. I gotta think. I gotta search for this one, actually, because I'm pretty sure there was a dude who got fined for fixing the roads by his house.
I know what you're talking about, because I saw that about the time that I'd considered there was one massive hole in front of my driveway that I was about to go buy shit for, and then I happened to cross that article on Facebook like a little after I bought stuff, so I used the stuff I bought for the road to do something else.
So this is fucked. Here's like a Mississippi newspaper saying that it's illegal to take asphalt and other fillers into your own hands and fix potholes on Jackson City streets. But that doesn't mean Jackson residents, tired of waiting on city repairs that can stretch into months or even years, worried about safety issues and potential impact of resale value on homes, aren't doing it. Why in the fuck is it against the law to fix this shit that you're paying the motherfucking state to fix themselves, but they aren't fucking doing it, and you get in trouble because you want to fix the shit yourself, so that way the car you're being taxed on doesn't get fucked up, so you can go get taxed on your fucking job and the income you make off of that, so you can go spend the money on that you already got taxed on that at the store you're being taxed on, and so that way you can get the car parts that you're getting taxed on to fix your car that your shit got broken, because of the simple fact that the taxes you were paying on for the road didn't fucking happen. Like, it didn't work for you because of the simple fact they didn't do their shit. How are you going to get in trouble for that?
Yep.
Life hack for you. If you need a pothole fixed, just spray paint a dick in it and report it to the city.
Fun fact. So I live, I mentioned I live out in the middle of nowhere, right? Or I used to. I'm a little closer to town now. I've actually seen, I think the highest amount was 3 before a guy that lived on the road actually fixed the pothole with 3 dicks drawn around it himself.
I think I read
3 sets of balls were still there around the new fixed pothole, though.
That was passed around in memes a lot.
Terrible.
Yeah.
The wild 3 in its natural habitat.
Usually, a lot of the times, just from like working in a little bit of the construction industry and seeing it in action, usually with the potholes is usually like they don't want private citizens, unless it's like a private community where they all chip in to fix the roads and shit. If it's like a public street, they want to make sure, if anybody's going to fix it, it has to be union contractors that have to do it. All right, yeah, that's cool. You give him union jobs, but it doesn't get the job done faster, especially if it makes everything more dangerous. They always like working these like stupid ass clauses or weird things to like prevent the normal people from doing it themselves.
Well, and I understand like a certain safety aspect of it. If, say Private Joe Citizen, goes to fix the road on his street, but he's, like cross-eyed and he misread the directions or something like that on how he's going to fill the pothole or mix the materials, and ends up having something where a semi truck goes over the newly fixed pothole and it kicks up half of the shit out of there into the car behind him and goes through the windshield. Like, I understand that, and I understand like why it can be a big questionable issue, but for the fact that somebody has to actually even go out of their way to fall on that sword and, go fix that pothole, essentially, quote unquote, breaking the law because the state isn't doing it. Like, seriously, come on.
You got to get a permit. You got to get a permit to fix this.
Well, is that how the fuck Domino's got away with it? Or did they just say fuck it and do it and was like, go ahead and fucking sue us. We don't give a shit.
It could be that, but most likely they got a permit for sure.
I would be so much cooler with Domino's if they like stood there with the middle finger and was like, fucking sue us.
They're going to fine them I'm guessing the fine, depending on the state, would have been like, what, $500, maybe like at least 2 G's, 5 G's maybe.
Yeah.
Like, it's nothing.
I'd imagine it'd be less than that because it's more likely to be against people like you and me doing it, not set really high for corporations like Domino's who wouldn't bat an eye at that. So I'd imagine probably lower than 500.
Maybe, but it depends. I know in Cali they'll probably charge a rack for sure.
Can't tell me that laws aren't disproportionately written, something like Domino's is just like, fuck it, I'll go ahead and take the fall on that. And
it's like the COVID lockdowns. Like, businesses were like, all right, what's the fee if we open? Like, what was like someplace were like $500,000 a day. Well, fuck it, I'm paying that anyways. I'm already making some businesses. They're lucky, like maybe a gun store or a grocery store. I'm already making that money tenfold. $1,000 is nothing to me. But people like us get fucked.
Congratulations.
We have a couple businesses here that pretty much gave the finger to the city and the police and everything and said, we're staying open.
Yeah, ones that were lucky to do that. Yeah, what's one cool thing that I'm not really focusing much on the presidential election now for most of these elections. The one I'm looking at whatever is going to happen with the state, with the senators and representatives. And I don't know if you guys were seeing, I think it was Arkansas. They have a libertarian that's running up against a Republican right there, and he actually might legit win.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw this, but like they were supposed to have a debate on PBS, and the Republican Tom Cotton, he refused to show up to debate. So he gave, I think his name is Ricky Harrison. Sorry if I got the name wrong, but he basically got a whole hour on public television to plead the libertarian case for Senate.
Yeah, but how many people actually watched then at that point? Oh, Tom Cotton ain't going to be on TV. I don't need to watch this shit debate.
Well, we don't know if a lot of people there actually have internet connections to even, like...
True.
And plus, it might be like a bunch of older voters, and, they're hearing all the shit about they don't even see... They may not even know there was a Republican running. They might even recognize the same name. Who knows? But, there's a lot of crazier things. There's definitely going to be a couple more representatives going to be popping up. I can feel that.
I don't know. All I can definitely say is, there needs to be something done and something done fast, because it's pretty bad when both the left and the right are agreeing with, either like the liberty-minded or libertarian-minded individuals and saying, yeah, we recognize shit's about to hit the fan here. And even so, I don't necessarily think that if things were to start to go south, I don't think it would have to do with people being upset necessarily at the political opponent who won. I genuinely think it's going to be because of whatever government is in place. And do we rip the Band-Aid off and just say fuck it and vote for Joe Biden, and knowing that, that's going to be the point of reform at that point to make change? Or do we just delay the inevitable with Donald Trump? Or... Is Joe Jorgensen really the turnaround point,
Well, I'm still betting with the Simpsons, and I have a feeling that George Jorgensen is going to come with the Hail Mary and take it. But with Biden, like, say if Biden wins, which is he's most likely the one guy that's going to kick everything off for everything, the Democratic Party's already split. Like, the Democratic Party might actually split itself into two different new parties, like a progressive side and one more of like the older boomer cons and shit.
Democratic socialists.
Yeah, there's gonna be a new wave. Like that's the other thing I was mentioning. Like there's gonna be a bunch of new libertarians popping up, but there's also gonna be a bunch of new like super left progressive like AOCs. What's the name of that like group? The
Squad.
Yeah, like there's gonna be more people joining the squad. Basically, they're gonna be coming up and they're gonna be talking shit about the DNC and the Republicans. Like the Republicans, I don't see them splitting or anything. They're already bending over backwards for Trump, so we already know that they're already weak in that end. But the Democrats, like they're fractured. Anything's already going to split off. It's going to be them too.
It makes me think about that meme where it shows like socialism and a guy walking along and he steps on a garden hoe and it flips up and hits him in the face. Then it shows democratic socialism and it's like a guy on a garden hoe, like it's a skateboard going down the railing of a set of stairs, and he gets to the bottom, then gets smacked in the face. Just the same thing, socialism. You just more steps. But no, I'm a little concerned. One thing with conservatives and people who are Republican is they definitely seem to be more consistent and, stay with things. And that's why I say if Trump stays in, I don't think things are really going to change much further from what they are. There might be some pissed off people, but I think that's going to be it. I don't think the end times are going to be here or anything else like that. I think that it's just delaying the inevitable. But like you put Joe Biden in, man, I have a nasty feeling things will get spicy, and that makes me nervous. Well, I should more appropriately say when we put Kamala Harris in. I showed the old lady today the whole clip of like her saying, "I'm speaking," and it's like that face, dude. Like, oh my god, whoever captured that and made that into a meme, I fucking hate them because that just makes me cringe every time I look at it.
That's hard been me. There was that other one that they made of her, the one where like I think it was a 60 Minutes interview where she asked her like, "Oh, they say you're the most progressive Democrat running," and like she had this shock face, like, "Wait, what? Really? I'm the most progressive? Really? What?" Like she started doing that like Hillary Clinton like nervous laugh.
No,
I still think I still think Kamala is Hillary Clinton, but using that like Lovecraft County like potion.
Yeah, the adrenochrome.
Yeah, no. Oh, you haven't seen that show, huh? Lovecraft County.
No, I haven't.
It's really good. I highly recommend it. But actually, I shouldn't even say it. But there's a spell potion that allows you to change your skin. That's as much as I'll tell you.
Oh, well, I was just saying adrenochrome. That seems to be more up the Clinton alley.
That's what got Biden through the debates for sure.
Yeah, pretty much. Did anybody see how many kids he sniffed before he went up on stage? I'm just curious.
I did not watch the very beginning of the debate.
I never watched video of him.
Good dozen, at least. Had to be.
Had to have been. Like, oh, I need to smell your youth.
I felt like Xbox was more worth my time than watching two old men argue back and forth, so I just watched it the next day while I was bored at work.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just with things going with they are now. I don't think things would get out of hand with Trump, and I really grit my teeth when I say that because I genuinely don't want to see him win the election. Just as much as I genuinely don't want to see Joe Biden win the election. But to think of it objectively, I don't think things will get too far out of hand. I just wish that he would kick the ATF in the ass and tell them to quit fucking banning arbitrary fucking shit. Oh my God. Fucking stop.
My AR pistol.
Exactly. Jesus. Fuck, man.
Like,
Hands off.
Who is it gonna hurt for somebody to have a brace on the back of their gun? How does that? Oh my God, they have the same weapons we do. Oh no!
It pisses me off. There's no fucking reason for it, really. I mean, so this is that argument people were talking about before when bump stocks were of the argument. No, you may not fucking need one, but it's the point that they're setting precedent that they can pick and choose what the fuck they want to ban. Boom, here we are. Fucking what? 4 years later now?
Hey, we get automatic weapons. Fuck you wanting to fire faster. No.
Yeah.
No.
Come on, guys. You need that. It's weapons of war, guys. You hurt a lot of people.
You can trust us. We're the government.
Look, they said you have to just send your gun, and they'll check it, and they'll give it back, maybe, and...
If you're lucky, you might get it back in a few years. Or you'll just suddenly out of nowhere become a felon, or...
Yeah, suddenly we're all felons now. Good luck enforcing that, bro.
How many people do you think are going to go on boating trips now and take their now illegal firearms with them and have a boating accident?
Dude, it was the wildest thing. We were all just on the deck, just cleaning our guns, having a good conversation. Then Joey said he saw some dolphins over off starboard. So we all ran over there in the boat. Like, when we all got over to look at the dolphins, the whole boat just capsized.
You were in Lake Michigan. How the fuck did you see a dolphin? See, that's the point. We were surprised.
That's why we had to get over there and look. And Johnny over there about fell off the side in excitement before the boat flipped.
It's winter, sir.
Ice boat?
Leave me alone. I didn't spill my beer. Yeah? Well, either way, there are about to be some boating accidents happening, and nothing more symbolic could ever be done.
And then you have the people that are just tagging the ATF's Facebook. Hey, ATF, I have a shotgun right here, less than 6 inches.
Oh.
Get it, buddies. Hey, ATF, I just put a pistol brace on my 16-inch AR.
If you don't follow their Instagram page, man, you have to. It is the greatest. I mean, if I am bored, all I have to do is just go and pull up the ATF's Instagram page and go through the comments. It is beautiful. I mean,
I'm doing that right
and
now.
then some poor dumb fuck FUD will get in there and say, "Oh, good job. You keep up the good work." And I mean, all these people will shit all over that person. It is great. Oh my God.
You guys know what that no one respects your opinions, right? Polish ATF. Y'all know, y'all get his dog too?
The one you just read, the first reply to that reply,
Oh, shit.
at whatever his name is, they are law enforcement. You need to respect them. Some German word I'm not even going to try to butcher was law enforcement too. Do you respect them?
All right. Father's Day. My absolute favorite post that I have seen people comment on. Report the ATF as a terrorist organization. Rest in peace, Randy Weaver's son. I bet Sammy Weaver would love to celebrate Father's Day. I bet the Weavers would be having an amazing Father's Day right now if your agents didn't kill them. Shout out to Randy Weaver. Do you say the same thing about innocent fathers who was killed at Ruby Ridge? Oh my God.
You know what's crazy about this? Just like the whole election, just 2020 in general, with the fact that like there's more record gun sales going on. A lot of people on the left are now learning and finding out like how the fucked up world of guns, basically. Not like guns, really, but gun laws. And
I think I just stumbled across one of your comments on their things or on their posts.
Me? Oh no, more than likely. I've made a couple comments here and there. I try to be more discreet about them, but I mean, I feel the same sentiment.
Well, the end of it was, you should be abolished.
I don't know. Which one? Oh, wait. That's the, if you have to lie, it's illegal to buy. Is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I remember that one now.
Because, fuck the guys who have made mistakes at early ages and turned their lives around. They don't deserve the opportunity to defend themselves against other people with guns.
No, it doesn't make sense. I mean, that goes back to like our first episode talking about Kyle Rittenhouse. Like, because of his age, that one stipulation, he wasn't allowed to defend his life in some of these people's eyes. Like, seriously? Like, that's not cool. Like, he had the means to. Like, that's not fucking murder at that point. And he didn't violate the non-aggression principle because he fucking ran.
So you have somebody my age, maybe a little bit older, we'll say into their 30s, busted ass their whole life, finally built a family, finally owns their own home, But one day, something happens and legally they can't defend themselves because they can't legally have a gun when somebody breaks into their house. And there are people out there that support that. It's like, that's all kinds of fucked up. Hell, most people that own firearms don't even carry them around with them. A lot of people do, but you know.
A man's past should not define his future. The present moment should be how your future goes. Think about it. Especially being in this movement, 99% of us don't know each other's history. We don't get into personal detail because of operational security, personal security, things like that. We don't dox ourselves, or shouldn't be doxing ourselves. Yeah. Nobody knows us from Adam. So why should my past end up defining who I am to you guys in the future, you know? And the same thing, I think you're cool. I've had enough conversations with you. I mean, I would trust you with a firearm next to me. Whatever happened, you know, in anybody's past, or whatever happened in their past record or anything else like that, should not be what defines how they have. I mean, now, if it's a violent crime that they, you know, especially were making repeated attempts on, fine, whatever. I mean, it bothers me because there are people out there who have done their time, you know, and they've paid their debt to society, you know, and the rest of society, you know, still shits on them.
That's why I'm a little biased on it. I have friends in that situation. I know people who, at no help of the justice system, and they'll tell you straight up the justice system failed them, but that's neither here nor there. The point, they turned their life around. They're doing great for themselves, very productive members of society, and it's like they'd be doing a lot better if they could actually get decent jobs, if they could get
more basic rights. But like,
some places felons can't vote. Alabama, there are 9 felonies that'll take away your right to vote.
In Cali, there's a proposition up on the ballots to give something like, not the violent ones, but if you're cleared of all your crimes, you can vote again. And they put that on the table.
Yeah, think about it this way. In some states too, like I know Ohio was, I'm not exactly sure how it is now, but it was a misdemeanor for you to get caught, you know, with so many grams of weed. But if you got caught with a pipe or something, or paraphernalia more appropriately, you actually caught a felony. And think about it, a simple marijuana charge like that could be what in some states you couldn't vote for, or you couldn't own a firearm for, you know. And it's like, how fucked is that? You know, like that's fucked up, you know.
The federal government doesn't recognize weed, and knowing this in California, when we have to do a background check for ammo purchases or gun purchases, they do have a question on there saying, "Are you a user of marijuana? If you are, you must tell us that you are, or else you can't have a gun." Okay.
No.
Okay. But back before we got legalized in California, we had to get a medical card. So you would go to like this shady doctor and you just bullshit to him, and he'll give you a card. You can go to dispensaries and buy some weed. And if you were on that roster or on that system, you were automatically not able to buy a gun. Like if you did the background, it would not pop up. And when I found out about that, I was dumbfounded. And then after like they legalized it, I noticed on the background check, they started asking that question, like, "Are you an abuser?" I was at the range, and they're really strict on it there too, where if like somebody comes in reeking like weed, they're not allowed to go on the range at all, or on the property. There's like, nope, just leave. And they were lucky because technically they're supposed to take away their guns, but they didn't.
Yeah. The question: do you abuse marijuana? Nah, man. It makes me not want to fight anybody. Why would I abuse it?
Yeah. You know what's the fucked up part? It's like growers in California that like have to put their name on the paper for their license automatically are barred from buying guns. After that, they pretty much have to hire like private security forces to defend their crops and shit. I don't know if you guys seen that series on Netflix. I think it was like, it's called Murder Mountain. Yeah, it basically talks about like Northern California, the growers up there, and like them always constantly getting robbed and shit, and security force. I only watched like one episode of it, but it's supposed to be like a lot of like murder stuff about like people getting kidnapped, shit. There's a lot of crazy shit that goes on. But a lot of this all ties to the fact that like these weed growers are not allowed to defend themselves. They have to hire these like private companies, and some of them are cool and legit, but there's also a couple of them that are start robbing, fucking over people.
I mean, what's the difference between hiring private security versus you being your own security? You're telling me the private security is you're not gonna have one or two douchebags walking off into the field and picking some of your own flour and putting it in their pocket and smoking it then.
Yeah. And on top of that, you don't know if like private security would, like in some examples that I've heard before where they'll be the only ones on site guarding it, and they're like, all right, come in at this time, you can take some and I'll take a cut of the whatever you guys steal. And they'll do some shady shit like that, or straight up just murder somebody and just so they can get away with it.
Oops, security.
Clean up in aisle 3.
I dialed 420, nothing's happening.
Doesn't Mike Tyson own his own weed ranch or something like that?
Yeah, Tyson Farm or Tyson Ranch. It's out in California City, California.
Yeah, I want to check that out.
Yeah,
Mike Tyson, if you're listening to this, please come on our show. We would like to discuss your ranch.
That would be awesome.
Mike Tyson's going to be fighting again. I don't know if you guys saw that.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
He's fighting...
Who's he fighting again?
Roy Woods Jr. Yeah.
Don't know who he is. Don't watch boxing, but rip.
He's also a legend, too. But they're only doing 6 rounds charity.
That's a good reason for him to come back.
But we got the old Tyson back. He's fucking vicious right now. Like when he was on,
I saw that.
He was sober and everything. He was just like on edge, just like, oh fuck. Hey,
shout
out to Joe Rogan though. Like 3 back-to-back fire ass guests. Kanye West, who he had Kanye West the other day, and then he had fucking Alex Jones and Tim Dillon. And then today he had Glenn Greenwald, the reporter that helped Snowden leak the NSA spying shit.
Oh, shit. I'm going to have to check that one out.
I'm watching that right now. I'm listening. Well, I was watching it. Glenn Greenwald went off, and he should, because, like, journalists are, like, the whole Hunter Biden shit. Like, journalists, regardless of where the source came from, if it's factual and it's true, like, the source of wherever, it doesn't even matter. You have to report it. You have to talk about it. You can't just put it on the side. Like, you can't show your biases. You're supposed to be the guys putting it in check.
I don't know. I would think a lot of people, if they do have that information, they hold it because of fear. I mean.
No, definitely. He talks about it too. Like, knowing that, like, oh, when are they going to start kicking my door and take me to and extradite me or some shit?
Well, and that's a lot of the problem, like within our own community itself too, is like, even if you come out and you say that you're B word or you're B word supporter, like you wonder when is your door going to get kicked in, and even if it's just that they haul you off to go and like ask you a couple questions, poke and prod at you and send you back home, like, and nothing comes of it. Like, that's the kind of shit, the intimidation, like it's fucking bullshit. It really is, so why that ruins the integrity of a journalist. And then you got people who want to complain like, man, when I watch CNN, they hate Trump. And then you got Fox and it's like nothing but fucking Trump cancer on there. And it's like, this is why you can't get anything fucking unbiased, is because you got too many journalists that are either being paid too much one way, or the ones who would report fairly are too fucking afraid to do so, and the big networks don't want that shit on their channel,
or they're silent already, deplatformed, whatever the fuck.
There are a couple journalists that'll
no,
unbiased just go out and not going to give any commentary, but this is what's going on, and the only commentary you really get from them is context. If the camera wasn't pointing at something, they might okay, this happened. But
I mean, one thing I want to know is, why does this election feel like too reminiscent of the previous election? I mean, because
it really
all
is.
Of the Hillary Clinton emails got leaked and everything else like that, and there was all these issues, and James Comey came in, like, at the end of the day, basically just slapped her on the pee-pee and sent her on the way. But it was still right in time to do that. Like, imagine being that journalist that like got a hold of those emails and was like, motherfucker, this shit was bigger than that, and you're just gonna let her walk away. Like, what the fuck? It's the same thing with Joe Biden and like Hunter Biden, all this shit with Ukraine and everything else like that that's coming out. Like, imagine like the journalist who like exposed that, or like the computer shop owner who had the extra hard drive or whatever from fixing Hunter Biden's laptop, or however the story goes. I mean, imagine being that guy and being like, look, this shit needs to fucking hit front pages. And it's like, not even on the back of the newspaper. It's like a little blurb, like on the side of like a help wanted ad in a newspaper, like somewhere deep in it. Nobody fucking knows it exists. I mean, you actually have to dig to find it on Google. Like, you type in Hunter Biden emails and you get, like, you'll see shit that comes up for the whole scandal, but it's like a little headline. You actually have to dig through, and you can't use like other sites like Google. You have to go and find like some third party option, and you'll start finding some shit.
Almost daily, there's like something new coming out from that laptop, like either some emails, some photos, and now apparently there's like nude photos coming out of it. I haven't seen them yet because
well, the link itself is not on Facebook, but a very broken up version of the link that's, you know, all changed so the algorithm won't get it, but it's still obvious, is all over Facebook right now if you want to look it up.
So, like, one thing that I've heard this on a couple other podcasts and other shit where they mention, like, oh, there's like these basically pedophilia pics and shit like that Hunter Biden had, that they were intentionally letting people download those pics and spread them around so they can eventually charge them for having child porn. Like, trap. I was like, wait, what? Oh shit, that actually might make a little bit of sense. So
that is a very valid thing, because
that's why I wasn't like, oh, I'm not gonna go look at these pictures, because like I'll believe it. They might have came, like, who knows what the fuck else is in that laptop.
Because I'll admit, I about went to the website until I started seeing what people were reportings on it, because, you know, a lot of people who have their old Facebook accounts still that are in the movement are worried about being under investigation.
We all are.
I'll admit I'm one of those people. That right there, if I were to go to that link and that pops up on my screen, that right there is an immediate arrest.
So
for Halloween, I'm going to be the ATF.
Are you getting one of those like dog leashes that looks like you're shooting your dog?
No. I'm just gonna wear a yellow shirt, a yellow like collared shirt, ATF hat, and I'm gonna have like a dead dog. I'm just gonna drag it.
Oh, you're going for the real effect. Okay, I understand.
Just do the yellow shirt. Get a fake brick wall to carry in front of you with your blue ATF hat, just peeking over the wall. Go with the ATF meme.
That meme is funny. That shit makes me laugh so hard. Like, so what show is that from? What cartoon is that from? I feel like I've seen it as a kid, but I don't remember.
Old Spider-Man, probably.
Because there's a point too, like where he's like sitting down and like reading a book or attempting to read it, and I like just can't fucking read or whatever. So, if anybody listening to this knows what that cartoon is, I mean, I'm probably going to hit up Google after this, but if you know what it is, definitely hit us up on Twitter or Instagram at the Goon Squad PR, because I'm curious about that. I really want to know.
Anyways, just hit us up on Twitter. It's the Goon Squad PR. You can find me on Twitter at the Boogie Disco,
and you can find me on Twitter at Class Country Boy, or you can find me on Instagram as Classified Country Boy. I had to make a new one. So,
are you spraying tooth on there?
Yeah, Cole, are you gonna make yourself a Twitter?
I was about to say I still don't have a Twitter because I keep forgetting to make a Twitter.
All right, well, whenever that happens, we'll probably post it on Twitter and shit.
Peace.
Take care.
The Goon Squad Podcast.